And welcome to the Under the Bus podcast. I am Clayton, joined by Merge. How you doing, Merge?
Good. A lot of shit has happened today, so we'll see where this goes.
Yep. Also joined by Cam. How you doing, Cam?
I'm good. Just going through the motions.
Going through the motions.
How are you going through the motions after today, man?
Oh man, I'm going to make fun of you a lot tonight, Cam. Just letting you know.
What's new?
And if you don't recognize the voice, that is our great buddy, or the first time on the pod at Opinions on NBA. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets. Nas, how are you doing, Nas?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here finally.
Yeah,
this has been like years in the making.
It's been like I've been like, I'm still gonna go on, and then I've just been like fucking procrastinating and shit. But like, I'm finally here, so let's do this.
Yep. So if you can't tell, a lot of bullshit happened, and we're not gonna be very professional tonight. I mean, not that we're ever professional.
We have Nas on. We're not being professional.
We're not very professional today, bro.
We're not professional. If you don't like cursing, then you can stop now.
Look, if you don't like cursing, this is not the show for you. All right, like
no.
If you don't like cursing, you probably don't follow Nas on Twitter. So
this is true. Okay, so let's get into this bullshit. The Lakers are a mess. What was it? New? Six weeks ago, Magic Johnson decided to resign as Lakers basketball player or president of basketball operations, and today who went on First Take in kind of a tell-all with Stephen A, Max Kellerman, and I don't watch it enough.
Molly
something. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
So with that though, I think the biggest thing that kind of came out was we've all kind of seen hints of it. There was the leak of supposedly Jeannie and Rob had these emails and Magic somehow got CC'd onto him. He denied that, but he did in fact call Pelinka a backstabber, or he was backstabbing him in that interview. So Merge, I don't know if you really got to see that, but what comes to your mind first with that?
So a lot of people seem to be choosing one end or the other when it comes to this Pelinka stuff right now, and my response to that is, can both be really shitty people and bad at their jobs? That's where I'm at this point. Magic was bad at his job, but it's also possible that Pelinka was also pretty shitty and was bringing up everything and was talking behind Magic's back, even though Magic probably should have been doing his job, obviously, but it's a lot of and we'll talk about this with the Vogel press conference, but that part just dominated everything. Even in the press conference, a good 70% of the questions were for Pelinka, and it was just a lot of just bullshit, just waiting to happen. And there's still a lot more that could come out, but I'm just tired of these dudes, to be completely honest. But again, I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't really have a ton to comment on it. I know you three watched it, so I'll defer to you guys with specifics.
It's crazy too, because it's like, I just thought about it. We didn't even get a chance to spend a whole entire week to enjoy the fact that we moved up 7 spots in the draft.
Right?
Yeah, it was like, all right, the moment the draft happened, and you found out that the lottery. The moment that happened, and you found out that Magic's coming on Monday, it's like, all right, let's go.
like we all knew it was going to happen, and it was even more questionable since they didn't. We'll get to this later. But they introduced Vogel today. They introduced Vogel the same day that First Take happened. So Cam, what were some of your thoughts on watching that? I know I woke up way too early on a day that I actually had to take off, not feeling well, and had to actually do crap. But other than my unprofessionalism, apparently, what did you think of that?
Just like kind of the same thing Merge said, from watching Magic just talk about not just Pelinka, but some of the moves that he made. It's just like both dudes were shitty, like him saying that Julius and LeBron couldn't play together. And and him trying to justify the Zubac trade, just like both of these guys were shitties.
Yeah. I mean, like he did own up to the Brook thing, like he did say that. But yeah, his explanation for
It's all
Julius and Zubats were both like I like was just standing there like you're serious, like that's the way you're gonna go about it. And then Stephen A quoted Zubats stats for the playoffs, like
it's totally unprofessional, dude. Completely classless.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like if first Milwaukee is not still in the playoffs and Brook Lopez is not, having 29-point games, that Magic probably wouldn't even be talking about Brook Lopez today either. It's just the obvious that he had to, take blame for that. But the other two guys, at home and, so he didn't really care about
that one I was just like, seriously. And you can say that like that Zubats isn't anything special, which Magic loves the word special. My wife was standing there and she's like, "Oh my gosh, does he ever use any other adjectives? Like that's the only thing he's using to say about so many of these guys is that they're special."
When you use to describe Kyle Kuzma, it kind of loses all its meaning.
Yeah, I totally agree. But it was like he brought up that Golden State game on what, Christmas? It was I'm gonna look at the stats, but I'm pretty sure Ivica Zubats, that game against the Golden State Warriors. Now playoffs obviously is different. They're gonna be using Dre as a 5 a lot more and everything like that. But I'm pretty sure Zubats had a good game on. Yeah, he was a plus 26.
Zubats and Rondo were the reason we won that game.
In 30 minutes and 40 seconds, he was 9 for 10 from the field with 11 rebounds and for 18 points, a plus 20, plus 25 plus minus, and they won by 26 on that night.
Feels like
now
1,000 years ago.
Yeah, now don't get me wrong, of like Zubats has his deficiencies clearly, but like he's had success against the Golden State Warriors in the past. Like Dre isn't going to be playing the 5 the entire time. Like they do play Looney, they do play Damian Jones, they do play, even Andrew Bogut at times. Like he could have had successful times against that. So, and even though the Clippers lost, they put up more of a fight than the Portland Trailblazers did.
Yeah, but everybody puts a better fight against the
and that's and like I don't want to say like that, put that as a slide against the Portland Trailblazers.
I'll put that as a slide.
But it is a slide towards the
Trailblazers. The Blazers are just this is our year, guys. Like every year, like Anyway, but go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
Or a sweep. A lot of that was just, that interview was a lot of crap, From that to saying, that him and Magic and Jeannie are still like brother and sister, but then he couldn't say no to, couldn't say bye to her, like that's one thing.
There's a lot of things that Magic did that was totally is out of bounds. Like he should have done things like, if that's your sister, you should have talked to her and been like, yo, this is the right role for me. I'm not happy doing this. Like let her know ahead of time instead of like blindsiding her. That's one thing. Or or just throwing players under the bus, like pun intended. Think about it. It's not the first time he's done this before. He does this. I'm not the biggest D'Lo fan. You guys, but at the same time, he didn't have to do that. It doesn't serve any purpose for him to shit on players when they're leaving, because it just pisses off other agents, and it just discourages them from bringing their players to here. It just doesn't make any sense. Zoo played Zoo's not a bad player. I mean, he's solid. He's 22.
Yeah, he's a rotation guy at least.
He's a rotation guy, and the most important thing is he's not Muscala. They gave up Zoo for Muscala, man. It's basically an older Mo. Like,
Yeah.
like
older Mo. Mo's probably better.
yeah,
Mo is better, and that's not saying much because Mo's
Yeah, I'm
not-
about this because
yeah, but a lot of people don't like Mo, but I mean, you get my point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a lot of things that he could have done differently, and it's like with Magic, I kind of like wanna. I kind of go back and forth because the stuff that he says, on the air, right? Like it makes sense. It's like, all right, you know what? I wish I fired Luke. I wish I had more power to do this and that. And then you're like, okay, cool. But then you hear about like things that he did behind the scenes and also things that he actually did that you know about, and you're like, okay, well, he's not a good president of basketball operations. So
Yeah.
I kind of go back and forth, but honestly, like, you know, like a lot of, but the bottom line is the criticism against him is very valid and it's very, it's important that you actually point it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There was just so much going on in that first off, like again, back to Jeannie. You know, I love her and everything, but you know, if she's trying to sell the team, you know, you know, I'll be knocking on the door for that. Like that was an interesting direction that took. Then like he constantly bringing up Kobe, and I don't know. It just felt like felt dirty, you know, like it made him. You know, obviously they're trying to make him look like a good guy in that, but he didn't look good in that.
Nobody looked good in that, man.
No,
like,
I mean,
every like he like his intention of like trying to look good in it, like actually made him look bad too. If that's what you're trying to get at. Like,
yeah, definitely. I mean, because from bagging on to his supposed sister to, you know, like I love Luke, but then, you know, I'm gonna fire him. You know, like that's fine. You know, like if you're gonna fire Luke, like you should have fired Luke when he first got there. You know, like if you wanted to hire someone else, you know, and especially 2 years ago, well, last offseason, that would have been the season to move, you know, upgrade at coach. Like, I mean, we'll get to Vogel here in a minute. Like,
oh my gosh, hi Nelson.
Yeah. Vogel was a good hire, you know, especially considering defense, but like, you know, you could have looked at Bud.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bud took the Bucks from what, in 7-8 seed to the best record in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're finals bound. And last year they fired Jake Kidd like when did they fire him? Like halfway through the season?
It was, I think they were 23 and 22. So yeah, it's just slightly over halfway through the season.
Yes, that like something like that, right? And then and then they had the interim coach. They got waxed in the first round.
Yeah.
Now, like basically, they did get some players in, like Brooke, obviously. Just George Hill. They got a George Hill.
They don't even have a. Oh, now they
got the George Hill. That's what they got.
Yeah, the George Hill. A couple of players. I'm like totally slipping their names are just totally like slipping my mind. But
it's just Brooke and George Hill and like Sterling Brown and Pat.
Yeah, I mean, well, they got like Ersan, and they did add Mirotic, you know, through trade and everything like that. So they clearly, yes, they improved the roster, definitely. But there was also a lot of coaching in there. It wasn't just that they just added those guys.
Bud's probably an elite coach.
Yeah, probably top five at least. You know.
Yeah.
The Lakers don't do those though. So I mean,
no, because does Bud have Laker ties at all?
No.
Okay, so
he has Spurs ties.
He wasn't going to be considered. So yeah, let's. I want to shout out to our buddy at Lakers Review. He's great for all these, you know, all the quotes and stuff. I'm trying to pick out one specifically that I liked, but honestly, there's just so many. Like my frustration was, you got to let me hire my own people, which, you know, I totally get that. And then he says, you know, Jeannie, like she's smart and she loves the Lakers, but she can't be emotionally tied to the guys, and we've known that. That's not anything groundbreaking. But like your job was the president of basketball operations. That's when you and her, you answer to the owner. You don't answer to Kurt Rambis. You don't answer to Rob Pelinka. That is when you're supposed to take your quote unquote sister and say, we need to have a meeting. And if you want me to improve the team, then this is what we got to do. And do I honestly think Magic would have improved the team? Not really. Trying to defend his trade for Mike Muscala and everything.
And Julius can't play,
and Julius can't play. But the thing is Julius would have been just fine because Julius was starting to stretch the floor this year.
Right, exactly. I think he hit 36% of his threes.
He was 34% from three on 2.7 attempts. Now that's not a high amount of attempts, obviously, but that's more than JaVale McGee was doing.
Hey man, it's better than Kuz. All right, like Kuz hit 30% of his threes. Like it's like his game expanded to the point where like you could play them both together. That's not an issue, but he made it. Magic made it like, oh, they can't play together. Yes, they can. Like, players don't. Well, maybe Jude doesn't do this under Luke. Maybe he doesn't, but that's on Luke. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily because Jude is not good enough to do that. Yeah.
Which then we too also kind of found out later that Pelinka apparently was tinkering with how Luke was managing the team, anyways, which I've hinted to several times. But people said that wasn't necessarily something that happens. And I mean,
it
does happen. But I mean, just Magic's continuing to look like an idiot, talking about how bringing in Kurt Rambis was a good thing because he's smart. That was
my God.
Kurt Rambis is a moron. Okay. Like Linda Rambis managed a strip club. Like she's got no business providing any input unless it was.
It's the Playboy Mansion, Clay. Get it right, man.
Yeah. Well, there was another club she managed, but yes, but I think just really the biggest outcome, other than like Magic was not meant for this job. We all knew that. Like, I mean, we all bitched about it when he was hired. Like, holy shit, I cannot believe this is happening. But after pining for essentially Jim Buss's job for years, he failed, and then he ran away. He didn't tell LeBron, which he says he doesn't have regrets and he doesn't hold a grudge. You freaking went on First Take, dude. Like, and you're talking smack. Like, this is kind of letting out your grudge. Like, I don't care what anyone says. That's exactly what you're doing. But just like, I think, if we're going to go to how the Lakers are set up right now, since it was announced that Rob Pelinka will not have anyone above him other than Jeannie, the quote unquote, Magic on Jeannie having too many voices in her head from, the thing, thanks to the Lakers film review or the Lakers review, often caused us to not make the right choice, or there's no decision. Now, obviously that's a thing, and we know that's a thing because oh God, who said it perfectly today? I think it was actually our buddy BJ. I think it was him. It's not called a front office with Jeannie. It's called a friend's office or something like that.
Yeah, that's something BJ would say.
Yeah. I'll look at the exact thing, but
that does sound like something BJ would say.
Yeah. But Cam, like, you were, I know that you watched it from like the opening lines, I guess, of it. Is there anything that you really wanted to add to that?
I think like the only bright thing that Magic even mentioned, besides the Brook thing, which was obvious, was that Joey and Jesse, wanted more involvement, and that he was willing to do that. But that was really it. Everything was, other than that, was just Magic being Magic.
Yeah, Magic doing Magic. Let's not forget about the best part of the whole interview: him and Stephen A. doing the finger guns.
Oh yeah, like it's like, hell yeah, those are the right stats. Yeah, like dog, what are you doing, man? Like, You know, the funny thing also is this too. They asked Rob, right? And by the way, that press conference with Vogel and Rob was the funniest shit. I swear. Like they asked like Vogel maybe 2 or 3 questions, and then after that it was like basically Rob ducking under shoes thrown at him and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't remember who said it, but Rob was like, somebody asked him a question. Who was like, "Yeah, but let's not forget we won't make today about Vogel." Well, somebody was like, "If you do an exit interview, you don't have to ask all these questions again."
So somebody actually asked I forget who it was, but somebody asked Rob like something about Magic's comments, and then Rob says something interesting too. He's like, in his sleazebag used car salesman way, the Lakers never had the president of basketball operations position before.
They made it up.
They made it up just for Magic. It's
and he started laughing when he said like, we know that Irvin, we know who's going to replace, but Irvin does laughing in between saying that.
Oh my god, man! It was like, and when people would ask him, like when people first started asking him questions, he did that R. Kelly gif where he was like,
yeah.
It was good. I don't know, man. Like I really enjoyed how he tried to navigate through it. Like it was like basically exactly how you expect an agent to navigate through shit.
Yeah. Well, also didn't we also find out that Jeannie was in? So like real quick, I didn't actually get to watch that. I was doing what I needed to get done for the day.
Yeah, you're being an adult.
Yeah.
Like,
so like apparently Jeannie was in the building for that.
Yeah,
and
she
of course couldn't come down. She was probably still with Phil Jackson up there, getting some business done. I mean, you know how she is.
Yeah,
whenever I think of, oh man, this is terrible. Whenever I think of like Jeannie with Phil, you guys saw Big Daddy with Adam Sandler, right?
Oh no,
just the part where she's just like, or Adam's just like old wrinkly
balls.
That's exactly what I mean. And it's officially gone off the rails. But
it's like have fun with him and his old wrinkly balls. Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah, like it was Dave McMenamin who said that. You know what? She was upstairs. She was she was in the building the whole time, and she didn't. And it was like just cowardice because everybody else, like all of her brothers were down. Well, the ones that she just talks to, they were down there. Like Jesse, Joey, even Rob for all of his sports and all. Like he still bit the bullet. Like yeah. Like Jeannie was nowhere to be found. Kurt and Linda were nowhere to be found. It's insane. Like you're the owner. Like why haven't we heard from you since? When was the last time we heard from Jeannie? By the way,
when she called the fake news.
Yeah.
God damn. Like it's hilarious too because now it's like everybody's confirming the shit that she said it was fake news. Like it's insane. Like
whoever did that, the Friends office, deleted it apparently. But yeah, no, like she's clearly just like not wanting to own up to it. She had no problem talking to the media all those years while Jim was running things. Now she has to call it fake news, or she has her buddy communicate everything for Ramona Shelburne, which if you still rely on Ramona for like insight, like I don't like, what are you doing? Because she's clearly carrying water for Jeannie, right? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Ramona is in the room with Jeannie when she's writing some of this up, either on Twitter or whatnot. She's like, it's pathetic.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ramona was upstairs with Jeannie at that time, like while she's writing all that shit. Like seriously, man, like everything that she wrote was like, hey,
it's terrible.
This is all like Magic. Like maybe what Rob did was completely and totally okay. Like, what? No, dude. Like,
Oh
none of
my
this is
God.
okay. Like,
No.
that's insane, man.
No,
like,
I read that article that she wrote. That was such BS, man. Like it was clearly out to try and protect Jeannie. Like,
Yeah.
you're not fooling anyone.
she's protecting her source, bro. Like, that's what that's what's happening. Like, because she knows that if Jeannie cuts her off, she's fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
She made sure she got that message out too, because like she goddamn copied and pasted half the goddamn article and tweeted it as well.
Oh yeah. She wanted to make sure everyone saw it, you know? Like that was terrible. It was so bad. Like who Cam, it was you that sent it to me.
Yeah.
And then of course, like I'm blocked because Ramona doesn't want to hear that her analysis blows.
Dog, she blocked you because you didn't agree with her that KD, like, it's okay for KD. I mean, she was
not
mad at KD.
Yeah, she was mad at KD for not taking a meeting. Well, let me actually put it this way. Jeannie was actually probably upset with KD not taking a meeting with the Lakers, you know, back in 2016.
Yeah, and they were like the Lakers were like 17 and 65. Like,
yeah.
Well, why would you fucking take a meeting with the Lakers, man? It's insane.
Exactly. And that's like I don't remember cursing at all. It was just, of course, like
you didn't curse, man. I remember it. And then she blocked you.
Yeah, and then she blocked me, and then of course, after she blocked me, then I started to curse. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is bullshit. Like, how fucking pathetic is that? You know. But anyways,
Or what about the Jason Kidd stuff, man? Like,
oh my God. They didn't even talk. Yeah.
They haven't introduced him, and God, Vogel. I have to say, I want to kind of transition away from all the negativity because God,
let's talk about Vogel.
It's fucking terrible. Vogel, on the other hand, he handled, from what I heard, since obviously I didn't get to see it, I heard he handled it like a champ.
Like phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, and we should all kind of expect that. He was a head coach of those Pacers teams that went to the Eastern Conference Finals, 2-3 years in a row or something like that. Like, he was a good coach. And like, was he my top choice? No, like, but he answered the question about analytics really well. He says that like he's changing of how he's looking at the game, you know.
And it wasn't just coach speak too. Like this is like
and it was interesting too. Like he said that during his sabbatical, he visited like 6 teams, right?
Yeah.
Just to check out how modern NBA offense is now run. Like he didn't just like sit there and collect money from the Orlando Magic. He actually sat there and tried to like hone his craft, because like he gives a fuck about basketball. He's not just there to collect a check. And he like really impressed me because I didn't expect any. Like the bar was pretty low for me, right? Like I mean,
we were freaking talking Mike Woodson, dude. Like that's like the depths of. And Lionel Hollins, like
JB Bickerstaff, bro.
Oh yeah, Lionel Hollins. First of all, he's got some big ass teeth, and I think he definitely has more teeth in his mouth than normal humans do, and they're ridiculously white. Like it's like the best smile I've ever seen. It's incredible. but he as a basketball coach, he's fucking awful.
Like he's terrible, man. He's like, it's basically
one season where the Grizzlies won like 50 games, and then after that there's nothing.
You're basically rehiring Byron. Like
well, because he was very old school mentality and everything, and then of course like Jeannie is out there using Ramona as their mouthpiece, saying, you know, like Lionel Hollins and Mike Woodson are good coaches. Like you, what? Like okay, like this is kind of
year?
Like
what year are we in? Like
and even back then, like you can say like they were only carried by the talent around them. Like Mike Woodson was not good in New York. It was mainly because Carmelo was at, you know, pretty much his.
Yeah, he was peak Carmelo.
That was just like that was probably my favorite Carmelo.
Oh, dude, I love those Knicks teams with, you know, Tyson Chandler and Amari Stoudemire and everything like that. They were.
He
wasn't there. It was fat ass Felton. And,
no. I thought Felton was part of the trade to get Melo.
No. That was it wasn't.
He went to Denver and then he went back to New York with them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like that New York team was like a 3 seed, and like for some reason he still like Woodson still kind of gets like ups for that because I mean kind of like the same reason that Mark Jackson gets it, but whatever.
I'm glad it's not Mark Jackson. That's all I can say.
Oh God, yes,
Yeah,
or Jason Kidd, and
he-
maybe Jason
Not
Kidd is
Jason
the
Kidd
eventual.
yet.
Well,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Hey man, Urias is back. Like I heard, Genie wants to get Julio Urias as assistant coach too.
Oh man.
That's a rough one.
Oh, there's Nelson.
Oh, hey Nelson.
We kind of
Yeah.
forgot Nelson joined like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
No, so, like-
that one hurt a little bit.
Yeah. So Nelson, did you get to see any of what happened today?
I got to see. I saw most of first take because I wanted to see what would happen, and it's just I kind of already knew this stuff. Like Pelinka's kind of not a great GM, and he's a backstabber. Yeah, and Magic Johnson doesn't know a lot about basketball. He didn't think Julius Randle would fit in well. He thought D'Angelo was a snitch, so therefore he's a terrible basketball player. Somehow that equation works on his head. And then we have Brook
This
Lopez.
is Kobe though.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Sorry,
Cam. Sorry, Cam.
Oh man.
I mean, apart from that, like there was nothing revealing. But I guess what surprised me the most, even with all like the bombshell news that supposedly came out, I think it was just how good Frank Vogel was in the press conference. I don't know. He seemed like a dull guy to me. Like just looking at his face, I was like, this guy's not exciting. But it was exciting to see someone sound stable and clear and not be bullshitting me like Rock Pelinka does. So.
Yeah. He seemed
Honestly,
happy too.
if Vogel just came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to stack our good players," I would have stood up and started applauding. So there wasn't really that big of a line that he needed to jump over. But
Yeah,
he did a lot better than that.
Yeah,
If
and
he was like, we're gonna space the floor, then I'd be like, okay. Well, congratulations. You figured out basketball.
yeah. Well, and also a quote. I don't remember who posted it, but he said that that he actually wants to start the year out with a roster that we kind of have now. Obviously bad guys.
He
but,
said that to Ali Clifton, I think, on Spectrum.
Yeah. I think I watched that that part.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, he just wanting to keep that young core along with
LeBron.
obviously Braun, like not trying to trade them all for Anthony Davis or Bradley Beal or whoever else you can think of.
Mhm.
He's a guy who has developed guys into quote unquote stars or near stars, or like incredibly valuable pieces. Like
Mhm.
Paul George became Paul George under Frank Vogel.
Man,
like
bum ass Hibbert was an all-star under
Twice.
yeah,
Twice.
and he was a defensive player of the year with them. Like
Or at least runner-up or something.
yeah, or at least, I mean, I think he won defensive player of the year, or at least he was in the running for it. Like David West was a very, very good player with him. Yeah,
and our Lance Stevenson led the league in triple doubles.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson was crazy, but he wasn't this crazy. And then George Hill, back to George Hill. Like he turned,
the common thread to every successful team is George Hill.
George Hill.
He's developed young players into either stars or really good players, and so like I want to see what he can do with these guys. Like if you can get AD for a good package, obviously you do it. Like I don't think it's coming. Then of course, like you got someone from Brazil saying, well, you didn't see it with LeBron. We freaking heard about it. Like Nas, did we not see, like you and me have a discussion about how someone was making fun of Brian Windhorst from a year before?
Yeah. Like
so 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were making fun of Brian Windhorst because they said LeBron was coming to LA, and he was like, no, this isn't, people in my business. Like, what business? Like, on the jockstrap of LeBron James, who clearly isn't telling you anything. Like,
let me recap that the whole conversation. This guy named Jeff Katz, right? He's involved. he's involved with Hollywood with Hollywood businesses, and he goes on Mason and Ireland, and he tells like Brian Windhorst is there, right?
Yeah.
He says,
Yeah.
you know, I know that LeBron's going to be here this summer. That's what he says. This happened last year. Brian Windhorst was like, you don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows what LeBron is doing. Like whoever says this, like this early in the game is full of it. Blah blah blah. But basically all shit, right? Then a week after, like a week before free agency, like Windhorst starts saying, "Oh, LeBron's going to LA." Like he starts hinting that LeBron's going to LA, right? Then he actually signs in LA, and then Windhorst's like, "Yeah, I knew that all along." And then Windhorst was like, "Man, the fucking audacity of this dude to like to say that I'm such an insider, and then all of a sudden you didn't know shit, and then all of a sudden you knew." Like I called this 18 months beforehand. That's what he said. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Like
Insane.
this has been like that was known, but whatever.
Back to Vogel.
back to Vogel.
Yeah.
He's been able to develop young guys, and I want to see what he can do, like if Brandon is healthy. Magic kind of hinted towards that he's been looking good. I don't know if that necessarily means anything since it's from Magic.
He said KCP was looking the best he ever has last season. So
God, yes.
Did he eat less crayons? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, he likes crayon cereal.
Like, oh my god, dog. I can't do another fucking. We're gonna talk about draft players eventually, but I can't do another dumb player, man. I just can't.
Yeah.
It'll drive me nuts. But go ahead.
No more KCP.
No more KCP, please.
But I want to see what he can do with these guys. He needs to obviously add an offensive coordinator. I pray to God that's not Jason Kidd. And some.
From what we've heard of the kid, he's a PD guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's a player development / assist, like head assistant, or like the second in command essentially. And so like there's some people that have been thrown around, like Forcier.
Forcier is a guy who is that's been connected a lot. In terms of a guy who worked with Kawhi.
Yeah.
He's pretty respected around the league.
Yeah. And then I don't know exactly. I haven't kept up on like offensive coordinators and stuff like that, but
I mean, like Hornacek and Igor are the only ones that come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, so like if Vogel is allowed to get his own staff now.
There's also been that female former WNBA player. I forgot what her name was.
I can't remember either, but was
something like Looper, right?
I can't remember.
It's Cynthia Cooper.
Cooper, yeah.
Tim apparently watched some of the stuff that she had coached and said that her sets were actually pretty good, which is great. Like if he can add that staff that is full of really good people, then I'm very excited about this. What I wouldn't be excited if it's Frank Vogel versus everyone that was hired by Genie and the Rambai.
So,
goddamn
Brian Shaw, Kurt Rambis, Mark Madsen.
Well, Mark Madsen was hired as.
No, he wasn't. He did not get that job. Someone else got it for BYU.
No, but I thought he went to another school.
I'll look it up. But I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Yeah, Utah Valley.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I didn't even know that. Huh? Yeah, I saw the BYU one, but
no, he didn't get that one. But he went to. He's now coaching Utah Valley.
Okay.
So like, yeah. So like, if Vogel has changed, his kind of mindset of offenses, because his offense back in the day wasn't great. His defense was awesome. So like if he can kind of just stick to the defensive side and then add like a Hornacek, we'd obviously have to bring like a guy like Tim on to or Pete to kind of talk mainly about those.
To break it down basically for us, like because they're more they understand the nuances more about the offenses, but
like I mean I can pick up basic plays, but like Pete and Tim from, well, I know Pete for sure. I haven't watched a game with Tim, but Pete can pick up exactly what set they're running as they're running it, or
Yeah.
like as they're starting to even initiate it. So we'd have to have those guys to fully talk about like if their sets are actually good and whatnot. But from based off a name and from what we know from previous, like Igor was a good offensive coach.
with
Hornacek,
Utah.
Hornacek was viewed as a pretty good offensive coach back a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Hornacek's with the Kings now, right?
Not, I don't think he's anywhere. Hornacek.
I heard that he would. I heard that the Kings were trying to hire him as the AC for
For Luke.
Luke. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't see that. But
yeah.
maybe.
I don't know.
I
If
don't-
it fell, I don't know if it fell through or not.
He's
Oh yeah. This is NBC Sports. Kings interviewed Jeff Hornacek for assistant coach position. Okay.
but I don't think he was actually hired just yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. Good.
And this was back in April, by the way.
Yeah, and
Did Bill Jackson fire Hornacek though? That could be a problem there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
he did. He did.
Yeah. So like,
But he also, I mean, he I think that was just because like they finished they were 29 and 53 when they fired him. So.
It was the middle of the season, and then Rambis took over.
No, on April
Who?
12th, 2018, the Knicks fired Hornacek after a 29 and 53 season.
right? They
I swear Rambis coached them for like half a season.
No.
yes, he did. He did actually.
It was,
He did.
I mean, this
Yes,
might
he
have
did.
this might have been like
that was after Fisher. That was after Fisher.
yeah, it was after Fisher. It wasn't after
Okay.
Hornacek.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So who was so Phil was with the Knicks when they had
Yeah.
Hornacek, right? He did. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He hired Hornacek, but he didn't fire Hornacek.
I think Phil left like around the same time.
Yeah.
And then like Steve Mills, who kind of took over the Knicks, fired him. I believe.
Yeah, and
Right,
and then
right.
he hired Fizdale.
Yeah. And I mean at that point that 2018, 2017, 2018 Knicks team was bad.
Yeah.
They were fighting with Carmelo like the entire year. It
Right.
just a bunch of
Yeah, they were trying
Yeah.
to get him to waive his no trade clause. It was insane. Like it was.
that team consisted of Tim Hardaway, Kristaps. I think that was actually the year he got hurt. Courtney Lee, Enes Kanter, Jarrett Jack, oh boy, Emmanuel Mudiay, who actually kind of had a bit of a revival. Michael Beasley, Frank Ntilikina, Trey Burke, Doug McDermott, Lance Thomas, Kyle Quinn, so on and so forth.
And that team didn't make it to the playoffs? Wow.
Oh, I know.
I too am shocked.
Yeah.
I am very, very shocked about that. Actually, that year they didn't even have Melo.
That was the Thunder year?
That was the Thunder year. Yeah, no, that was last season. Yeah, no, that was the Thunder year.
Oh, wow.
So-
Okay.
So, I mean, like their leading scorer, points per game, was Kristaps, who got hurt, and then it was
Yeah.
Hardaway, and then it was Kanter, and then Beasley. So, it was when Beasley is your fourth leading scorer in 74 games, you've got a problem there. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there was a lot of issues, but
But I mean, maybe they'll. But your point still stands. It's in like if Vogel gets like a well known or well thought of offensive coordinator, they should be like it should be okay. It should be all right because we don't have a problem with defense. Like especially like with this.
they were a top 10 defense before all the injuries.
Correct.
They were
And-
top 6 before Lonzo got hurt. I remember that.
And if you're adding Vogel's defensive schemes with the actual personnel that we have, it should be really, really good. I wouldn't be like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like ended up like top 5, top 3 in defense next year because I mean, Luke was pretty good as a defensive coach, but at the same time, he's not Vogel.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
Vogel's.
I
If the Lakers get the right pieces, they're definitely
I
potential for a top 5 defense somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right.
I think kind of actually instead of we were going to kind of talk lotto, which we can say like real quick, we can say all like how like quick favorites or like how happy we were when that happened. But I
Yeah.
don't really want to I don't want to go into like a draft breakdown of that. What I kind of really want to look into is instead of that, sorry, I'm switching it up on everyone, is
Very good.
is kind of me and Merge were talking about it before the pod started and before everyone else joined. For Vogel, he was saying the offense is going to be outside in, right? Which should be how it is nowadays.
Mhm.
But then defense is going to be focused on inside out, which is exactly how he's done it before. Now, I think there will be adjustments to it. Obviously, I think there will be more switching than he probably did in Indiana and Orlando. I do think you should kind of you don't completely ignore the Orlando years, but I do think like you kind of have to give that as a bit of a
mulligan, basically.
mulligan.
Yeah.
Those two Magic years that he was with them before Clifford turned them into a really good defense was, really young players. Aaron Gordon wasn't quite Aaron Gordon yet. Vucevic did not try on defense this year. He actually legitimately tried.
Mhm.
There was a lot of garbage on those years for Vogel.
Isaac was hurt for a lot of the year. I remember, or was that the year? Jonathan Isaac was hurt for a lot of the year.
Jonathan Isaac was hurt. I mean, I can look up say the last 2017-2018 Orlando Magic team, and with the Lakers, obviously we kind of have a need for a young big. Some people are still kind of high on
Mo.
Mo. I'm not, honestly. I would just kind of really move on from that.
Same.
But I mean, honestly, like if you look at the Lakers right now, he's the only quote unquote big man on the roster next year.
Yeah, because technically Williams isn't on the roster.
Yeah,
and
Muscala free agent, which I'm fine with, obviously.
I swear to God, if they don't bring back Caruso and they fucking bring back Rondo, I will fucking raise all hell. I swear to God.
I think that Caruso has proven that he is a good backup. Like, if he's not just a true backup, which I'm fine with, but I think he's a third backup, a fifth guard, which there are for this team is clearly valuable.
He's an NBA player. Just make it simple. Like, he's an NBA player. So is Jonathan Williams. Like these guys deserve a chance to play in the NBA.
Maybe even JJ too.
Yeah,
Jamario.
Well, I think Jamario. I think you could see the two-way as Jamario and like Jonathan Williams, but I do think Caruso will find his way on the roster. But JaVale McGee, free agent. Tyson Chandler honestly should retire just because the injuries just hurt him so much. So like the only big man that they have on the roster is Mo Wagner, and that's clearly an issue because is he a 4? Is he a 5? Like, is he any good? Like, he had a couple good games, but he just wasn't. He's just not very good. In my opinion.
Man, you hate Mo Wagner, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've never.
Can't the guy get one NBA offseason before you shit on him?
No. No.
They should have never reached for the dude in the first place, but
I think that if you put enough shooters around LeBron, and if you let LeBron take hold of the offense, Vogel's going to find a way to get the defense to be good enough to where you don't even need like an offensive fucking mastermind. You just give LeBron the fucking ball, and then you try to figure out the ways to incorporate people like Ingram and those people. But I just think that if the defense is good enough, then I feel like LeBron finds a way, and that in itself should be a playoff team.
Yeah, definitely. But
as long as it's some good signings.
Yeah, the things that I'm kind of hinting to is that inside out mentality for defense. He had Hibbert for several years with
Verticality.
with the Pacers. With the Magic, he had guys like Keem Birch, who's a okayish player, but he's a
Mhm.
backup guy, obviously. Bismack Biyombo, who
That was after the 1 year he was good, and then he decided to never play basketball again for the rest
Yeah,
of his
oh
life.
my
yeah,
God.
pretty much.
was- He killed it in those playoffs, and then he got a
He got the
basically
bag, and then he ran.
then he got a Luol Deng deal basically, and
Yeah.
And then he had he had Mo Spates, Nikola Vucevic, who I think was actually injured for some of that year, or he just he played in only 57 games. So like he also is just not very known as a very good defensive guy. He was okay this
No.
year. But there's a lot of there was 4 centers on that Magic roster for 2017-2018 as last year. Keem Birch, Biyombo, Spates, Maurice Spates, and Vucevic. So not really what you would consider to be good defenders for the most part. So like that's kind of why I kind of look at you should maybe give them a bit of a mulligan for it. Not to say like totally ignore it, but I
Right.
think
I understand what you're saying.
yeah, I think the best way to look at it is kind of how the 2015-2016 Pacers were the year that I don't know if they fired Vogel or if he just like his contract was up. I'm not 100% sure. But that year they had that was when Roy Hibbert, I think, was actually a Laker. Oh my word. But
he just fell right now. But we
Yeah,
saying that,
he literally tripped in his living room. Poor guy. But they had guys like Jordan Hill, Jan Mahimi. That was before he went to the Washington Wizards and he was actually really good that year. He got a decent deal from the Wizards even. And then a rookie, Miles Turner.
Yeah.
Now their defense opponents points per game, of course, like that's one thing. It was 8th. They only gave up 100 points per game, but their defensive rating was 102.9, which was 3rd. With how they focused on funneling everything in. Yeah, they had George Hill, or they had George Hill. They had Paul.
They had a George Hill.
Yeah, they had a George Hill. And Paul George and George Hill played a lot, but they also had to deal with Monte Ellis.
And Rodney Stuckey too, right?
And Rodney Stuckey played 58 games, and CJ Miles, who's good player.
I forgot that Monte Ellis was in those teams, like Jordan Clarkson Sr., man. My God, really good.
Yeah, they had finished seventh in the East that year. There was kind of like a bit of a transition year for them. Still obviously decent. They had finished 45-37. But if you just kind of look at those big men, guys that can protect the rim, I think. While the draft pick, unless you're going to trade back, I don't really think any of the bigs in this draft you can really take it for. I love Jackson Hayes. He's too raw, in my opinion.
Goga
Bitadze, I want to say how you pronounce it.
I just say Goga, and I've actually heard Goga pronounced Goja as well, so I really have no idea how to pronounce his name.
Oh God. While I haven't gotten to watch a lot of him, he's impressive. But he's definitely not top 4 for me, even in this draft. And
I mean, Brandon Clark.
You could say Brandon Clark, but I think he's a 4, especially after that combine measurements. Yes, I know he's very explosive athletically, but just the standing reach and everything just kind of brings it back for me. So I think if you want to draft a big for the future, you're going to have to trade back, period. Or you're going to have to try and trade something to get a pick for one of those guys, So
can't believe he got the 4th pick, man. It's still insane to me.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
Yeah. It was when they came up to 11th, I was just like, I was telling my wife, this is it. We're gonna be into huge debates on Lakers Twitter who is going to be picked, and now it's just kind of down to Culver, Garland, and some people are saying DeAndre Hunter, or you have the crazy people who are still saying Cam Reddish. And when I say crazy people, I literally mean crazy people. Go look at his year.
Colin Ben McLemore.
No, you mean like filthy casuals? That's what you meant?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Colin Ben McLemore, man.
That dude is living off of high school recruitment pedigree right now. I do think I am higher on Reddish than some people. I think like he would be fine at like starting at like 11 or 12. I wouldn't have really wanted him at 11 if it was the Lakers were still there, but top 5, no way in hell. So really your options just are really limited there for
it's Culver, Garland, Hunter, or if Barrett falls, Barrett. That's pretty much.
Oh, I hope he doesn't fall. Jesus.
Yeah.
Cameron woke up from his fucking slumber right there. He heard RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I still love RJ. So I guess where I'm going towards this is the Lakers need a big man, and I don't think that they're gonna, even if they were to draft, say, a Jackson Hayes or a Goga. Gosh, if it's a Goga or Goja, who knows? They're not going to start a rookie. Period.
Yeah, that too.
I think what's going to happen is that they re-sign JaVale and sign somebody else. I think
that's what Merge and I were saying. I think we can expect to see JaVale again. Hopefully, he isn't pouting or dealing with the flu again, because he was just atrocious for a decent portion of the year.
Yeah, it took him like 3 months to recover from the pneumonia, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, 3 months of pneumonia and pouting.
Yeah.
But just kind of a couple names that Merge and I were bringing up. Because even if you do bring back JaVale, he showed that he's a guy that should really only be playing 20 to 24 minutes, give or take a night, in my opinion. If you play him more than that, I think you start to really limit his impact on the game, So a couple names. I mean, me and Merge who had a whole bunch. And some of these names, obviously, they're gonna have to take huge pay cuts. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, first off, there's 2 big time free agents, or potential free agents, that could be available, but they're both making over $20 million a year. That said, if they were to go on the free agent market, I don't think that they're making $20 million a year.
No.
Still, with that said, even then, if the Lakers were to get, say, a Kawhi, who I think most of us, that's the guy that we really want. They're not going to have the space even remotely to get like.
I'd give him a nut for Kawhi right now, man. Seriously.
Yeah, he's incredible. But like, there's 2 guys, Marc Gasol and DeAndre Jordan, who are making huge money, but both of them, I would think, want to win. And both of them have regressed, obviously. Is it to the point of them taking like really low salaries compared to what they're making? I have no idea. But like, if somehow you were to say Kawhi, they got him, and then say they were able to dump a couple salaries like Mo Wagner and say Isaac Bonga, I mean, you're not really getting much for either of those guys. They both have guaranteed contracts.
What do you guys think about Bonga for now?
I still like him. Like, he's. I mean,
yeah, and even with with Forcier, the stuff that we've been hearing about him, maybe he can be a guy that could help him out a lot.
Exactly. So like, if you could get like one of those guys, obviously, I think you do it. Now, you have to see like with the rising cap, like the cap. All the situations with if they get a big guy, a max guy, but then you kind of start getting to guys that aren't going to be paid like that.
Yeah,
you're expecting to be paid like that. Like a guy that I've loved for years, and Nelson probably already knows who it is. Me and Merge already talked about it.
Yeah. Nelson isn't even in this anymore, but
he isn't sad. R.I.P. Nelson. Cam, I don't know how long you've listened to the podcast, but my love for Nerlens Noel has.
Oh man, it's spanned years.
Has been well documented, and
it's actually terrifying. Like
Yeah, I mean, like one of my favorite articles that I ever wrote was before like the Lakers completely collapsed the year with before drafting Lonzo. The Lakers were in the spot. It was like 14 or it was late lottery, and I suggested trading Jordan Clarkson and the Lakers pick to Philadelphia because they already had the rights to it anyways, for Nerlens, and that story did really surprisingly well, hilariously. Now looking back on it, I'm like, holy crap, that would have been really bad.
Yeah.
But
It happens, man. It happens.
I mean, everyone has those stories. But what does everyone think of Nerlens this year in 77 games in less than 14 minutes? It was 13.7, so semantics. Shot 58.7% from the field. So, I mean, you're not really asking him to be anything more than just like a finisher around the rim.
Mhm.
His shooting, around the rim was about 62%. No. It was actually 72.5%. Sorry. I was like 62% seems really low. That's actually how many of his shots were around that. But he finished at 72.5% clip, which is pretty good. Obviously, a lot of them were going to be dunks. But in those 14 minutes, he was able to get 1.2 blocks and 0.9 steals, so almost 2 stocks a game, in less than 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Now,
They're saying he's good.
what I'm saying is he's a good defender.
Yes.
He's always been a pretty dang good defender.
Mhm.
You always wanted more from him, but he's kind of also a little bit of a knucklehead. But maybe like he's still, holy crap, he is only 25. Still, even though I've wow, holy crap, I thought he was
Claim the phone right back in love.
I did. If you could get like a guy like JaVale to kind of take him underneath his wing, like, hey, I went through this nonsense, this is what you need to start looking into. Like this is how you need to start going about your business.
Also, the Lakers offered him last year, and he's a clutch guy. So
Yeah, he's a clutch guy. The Lakers offered him, a contract last year. He just decided to go with a quote unquote more winning situation with the Thunder. So does anyone really have any like yay or nay to Nerlens? Let's go with Cam first.
Honestly, I know it's your guy and stuff. I don't remember watching him play at all this season.
Yeah.
Like,
Honestly, I didn't watch a whole bunch of them this year either because like I honestly hate watching Russell Westbrook.
don't we all?
So yeah, so I didn't
you would
actually
think.
I didn't watch him a lot. So, but like just based off of kind of what I said, or and maybe if you remember him in the past, like would that? I mean, he only made this past year. Was it $2 million? I'll look it up, but
Yeah,
just go ahead and give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't really think they have like any, other really options out there unless like they take Hayes at 4 or something like that. Like they need a backup center. McGee has asthma and stuff, so I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah, I mean, it's a gamble that can pay off. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't know he was 25, so that's also a plus.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're going to go inside out, like I think that's a good option still to go with,
Yeah, for sure.
So, Nas, you got any opinions on that?
Fucking, if you could sign him, I think it'd be great because I liked him last year too, and he got the minimum, was it? Or
No,
he got like
less than $2 million, slightly less than $2 million a year.
Yeah, something that you could have spent on him instead of like let's say Beasley or even McGee. Like to be honest, like he does a lot of the same shit that JaVale, like him and JaVale are like similar players where they're not really threats offensively, or at least you don't want them to be threats offensively because you're probably going to stack up a lot of losses if that's the case.
Yeah.
But you want him on your like on a reasonable contract, which is like 2-3 million. Yeah, he's perfect, man. Like that would be a great pickup. I know, you've had a hard on, but this is like that would be a great pickup. Like seriously, like your man is validated on this. Seriously,
There you go. Wonderful. Merge.
No, I mean, like I said when we were talking before, Nerlens is one of the guys I've had my eye on for like the whole year. In terms of a guy to get. Another guy that I would bring up, and he's kind of similar to Nerlens, is Ed Davis, former Laker. Obviously, he had a really good season with the Brooklyn Nets this year. He would kind of fill the same exact role, except I think he would have more of a. Obviously, he's older, Ed. So I think he's like 29, 30, right? That sound right?
I'll look it up
For Ed. And I think he'd be sort of a good mentor figure for the guys on the team. So he's another name I'd throw out there in terms of a 5 that could protect the rim somewhat and would fit sort of the scheme that Vogel wants.
Yeah, he makes.
But obviously Nerlens I would like as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is going to be 30 June 5th. So in a couple weeks.
Hold on, Ed Davis going to be 30?
Yeah, June 5th.
Holy shit, he's been in the league for that long. God damn.
Yeah, he debuted after because when he was drafted 13th overall. He I think was injured while he was at UNC, or he like just did something during.
He was drafted by the Raptors, right?
Yeah, 13th overall.
Yeah.
He debuted December 1st, 2010. So he's been in the league at least for 8 years. So
wow,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah, so I agree. I think Ed Davis would definitely be a good one. My only concern is just that, like in the past, Ed hasn't been the healthiest. In the last 5 years, he has had 3 years where he's played over 79 games. Well, 78 games. Well, so 4 out of 5 years, he's actually been better. But there's been several years where he hasn't been the healthiest. In 18 minutes a game, he had less than 1 block and 1 steal a game. So he wouldn't really be. He's never really been actually a great block.
He's never been a box guy now.
Yeah,
he's been more of a verticality.
He's a guy. Yeah, he's also a guy who is just he gobbles at rebounds when he can.
Yeah.
So in 18 minutes, he grabbed 8.5 boards a game. So crazy. Yeah, he's a monster rebounder. I think Ed would definitely be a good one. Then there's kind of like guys that could be cut soon. Willie Cauley-Stein. I've always liked him. Another guy that in that Nerlens Noel mold. I think
it's 1 o'clock.
What was that?
What the fuck?
That was Cam. That was Cam. Okay,
It's got to be Cam, yeah, because like you're in NOLA, right? So it's 1 o'clock. It's like
that was
not. It's like what the fuck was that? Anyway, go ahead.
That was great. Willie started off the year really well for the Kings, and then he kind of just came back down to earth pretty dang hard.
Yeah.
He's always had that athleticism and the length. The problem is his hands are pretty small.
He's a really bad rebounder.
Yeah, he's also just an anemic rebounder. In 27.3 minutes, he got 8.4 rebounds. So let me see if I can look at his total rebounds is 15.8.
Whenever I hear he has small hands, I think of that Stephen A. clip. Yeah.
Oh, the Kwame Brown one.
That man can't play. He got small hands.
Yeah. To put that in perspective, while Willie was at like 15%, this past year Ed Davis was at 25%.
Oh my god.
So like that's, I mean, obviously, like for Willie, it would be like, well, first off, we're gonna get you to rebound. But also, if you kind of think of in regards to Vogel, Hibbert wasn't a big rebounder. He just
he was a box out guy.
Yeah, you just kind of you would have to teach him how to box out like Hibbert did, back in the day.
Everyone remember the Julius Randle isn't a good rebounder? Isn't that good of a rebounder debate?
Yeah, that
It was
was
only it was only Roy Hibbert boxing out.
Who
yeah.
the fuck said that, dude? Like that's
I forget, but I remember it was said at some point.
That became. I remember that day. That day was something else.
It's got to be one of those blue check fuckheads, right? It has to be like they do. Like, nobody's stupid enough to say that unless you fucking like are trying to be the smartest guy in the room. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
was probably Eberle or HP. That's my guess.
I can't remember.
all right.
But yeah, then you kind of start getting to guys like Dwayne Dedman, who's going to be 30. He was injured, I think, a lot this year. He's an interesting guy. I don't know if I would really pay him. He made, I think, like $7.2 million this year. I would definitely want to pay him that much.
He'll probably get like the mid. I'm thinking like the mid-level exception, something like that. You know?
The middle was like 9 though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, the mid is 5. The room exception was high.
No, that's what I'm saying. For like if we were to get somebody like him, like around that tier, it's gonna be like the mid. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
actually give Nerlens like the same amount too. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
$5 million is about right.
Honestly, if you could give Nerlens like what you gave Stevenson, which is 4.5, and which is even then Nerlens is probably still an overpay at that point. But if you can get like say your starting, so like JaVale, or like give JaVale like 4 million and then give Noel like 2.5 to kind of like even that out a little bit. That's your two main rotation bigs for, you know, like $6.5 million a year. Like that's pretty solid. And then you can try and get a second round pick or, you know, undrafted guy. Since we saw like Jonte Porter being talked about with the Lakers as an undrafted guy, possibly. But were there any other guys?
Especially for a stretch pick, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably bring in some type of stretch guy.
They'll probably get one regardless of whatever they do with Mo, because I don't think Mo's like reliable enough to
Definitely
be there.
Definitely. I could honestly, I don't really like this option. I'm just scrolling through like names of big men, and I know that the Charlotte Hornets were trying to move Frank Kaminsky. I could honestly see them like cutting Frank and then like Lakers signing him for super cheap. Not that I like that option, but just yeah.
Honestly, if you were gonna trade Zoo for a stretch 5 like that, it should have been Frank. It shouldn't have been Muscala. It should have been Frank.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like I mean, I know that's kind of a low bar to meet, but at the same time, like fucking Muscala's a low bar. So
yeah,
they're totally gonna re-sign Muscala now.
Oh my god, they're probably gonna cut Mo and fucking sign Muscala. Like Rob's gonna try to double down. Like, no, I made a good job by doing this shit. You know,
he's gonna cut his own Michigan man instead. So you know, let's get to the point of wrapping up real quick. Though, was there anyone else that you guys could think of? You know, like obviously, if like they don't sign a big guy or whatever, they could take like salary dumps. Like I know Tristan Thompson would be. You know,
oh my god!
I know, like I'm not a huge fan of Tristan. Obviously, he had a pretty decent year, I think, with the Cavs.
Neither is Chloe, apparently.
He would be obviously like a salary dump type guy.
I think he can actually still play, and it's kind of the thing with LeBron makes bigs better, and I think he's the type of big that LeBron would make a lot better, and he's a decent switching big as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate it.
I want to be real happy with it. Obviously, I'm just saying. I just, yeah. I mean, he only played 43 games this year. I don't know if that was necessarily due to injury or what.
That's because he's doing everything besides basketball.
Well, I mean,
and
that's what happens when you get caught up with the Kardashians. I mean, but don't blame them for that. I guess. I remember like with JC.
It worked out well for Jordan Clarkson and Blake Griffin and
Ben Simmons.
And Ben Simmons right now. Yeah, they're doing so well.
Since we brought up Ben Simmons is a fucking coward.
Bigger coward, Ben Simmons or Genie?
Oh
Oh,
god.
Genie by a mile.
No. What's more likely? Ben shooting a three or Genie going to a press conference?
Dude,
I'm
that's a tough
taking
one.
Ben.
That's a tough
Ben.
one.
Contested everything. Yeah, Ben.
You didn't say
Wide open.
you didn't say a half court heave at the end of at the end of the shot clock, so that's what I'm choosing. Ben.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Ben has attempted 13 threes.
I want to know how many of those are heaves.
I don't know. I'll try and see in just a second. He's made literally none of them. So
Man, the
Let-
way Ben shoots too is like
it's like he's a right-hander.
it looks like
Eight of them were heaves according in his rookie year.
I'm really not even trying to be an asshole. I'm surprised by the number 13. I thought it might have been like 5, but
I thought it was 0.
I remember he shot one versus the Lakers in Philadelphia that one time. Like LeBron was like sagging all the way back to the paint,
God,
and
yeah.
he decided to shoot it for some reason. He almost made it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was no. Did I say 13 for some reason? What the fuck is 13? It was it's 17. 11 his rookie year. Six this year. Has made literally none of them. And only 8 of them have been heaves, according to.
there's no way he shot 6 threes this year. No way. No way.
Yeah, that's what it says. I mean, I'm on Basketball Reference. Eight of them were heaves his rookie year, and none of them were heaves this year. So.
Don't talk about future Laker Ben Simmons like that. Okay.
Oh God.
We're trading LeBron for Ben Simmons, guys.
Yeah, I mean that'll be definitely up for discussions according to whoever.
Hey man, there's people who are saying that you should trade Ben Simmons for role players. Like, all right, dude, it's enough Twitter for me today.
Yeah,
Hey, we slander Ben Simmons a lot, but that's a dumb.
Yeah, no, like Ben.
At least Ben
Pretty
is
good,
an
man.
elite defender and
Ben is a
passer.
great
Like,
82-game player, but when it comes to playoffs,
It's fun to clown Ben, but he's a really good player, man. That's just like,
yeah,
It's like Kyle Lowry. He's fun to make fun of, but he's actually a good player.
yeah.
fuck Kyle, man.
That's future Laker Kyle Lowry to you.
That fucking human fiat. I don't want to see that guy play for the Lakers.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I think that's our ending point right there. Calling someone a human fiat. All right.
Like you saw him, like I saw him dribble
man.
down the court and like bounce around like a pinball. It was like I don't want to see that for 82 games, man. And they're counting playoffs too. It's like,
Oh man.
He doesn't
Hey,
play playoffs.
Kyle was good the last 2 games, okay?
Kyle's been good in the playoffs this year for the
This
most
year.
part. But
year.
yeah,
this year,
yeah.
it's like the
So-
outlier,
all right. A lot happened tonight. Talking about the mess that was First Take, the disaster that was the press conference. We're all kind of pretty excited about Frank Vogel, which is good. Even though like we had higher hopes of Ty Lue and Frank Vogel.
That would have been fucking dope, man.
I know, but and then of course we got into our smack talk, and we're also looking into possible guys that you could see fill the 5 spot this summer, or that they could sign this summer. Cam, you got anything that you want to end with?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Okay.
Nope. I don't have the
You
Lakers.
don't want to comment? You don't want to comment about any like octopus or anything like that?
Oh God. Well,
Clay.
I heard it's good. I heard it's very good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Are we gonna have this conversation again?
not right now. Merge, did you have anything that you wanted to add before we go?
No, I mean, I'm just excited about the draft, to be honest. That's the thing I'm focusing on the most right now.
It's probably what we'll be talking about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I know Nas isn't a huge draft guy, especially like this early. So.
No, I stopped watching the draft since 2017. Like, I mean, I was like really into it until about last year, where it's like, yeah, I don't think we were even going to get a pick. until they traded Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance for to Cleveland for that pick. So then I saw the picks and I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
We'll have to bring Nas on just for that. All right. I don't have really anything.
Just to sit there and watch us talk about
no,
it.
I'm just gonna fucking clap at whatever you guys fucking say. Like, yeah, I like that guy too. That's great. That's phenomenal.
I don't really have anything to end. I'm gonna let Nas have the floor if he wants, and then we'll.
Oh man.
Yeah,
what a way to close out.
I just got one thing to say. Fucking Genie, sell the team, man. Like, I mean,
There we go. We need to-
Sell the team. That's great.
That's the new trust process. It's sell the team.
Oh man.
That's a new podcast now. The name of the new podcast, Sell the Team, Genie.
Sell the team. Well, and honestly, our podcast name is even better for how it's been lately. It was great 2 years ago or however long ago we changed it from.
It's completely fitting, man. Like, you know, like
It really is. It's just perfect.
it's just perfect. It's as long as the Bus family runs the Lakers, it's gonna be relevant forever.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Oh god. But, hey man, we got the fourth pick. I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
And Vogel actually gives me just a little glimmer of hope. Just a
little.
But we shouldn't fucking be here. Oh my god.
All right. With that,
Leave it at that.
you could follow Merge at
Merge Christian.
at
Come
Merge
on,
Christian.
dog.
I had everyone's thing on here, but of course, like my phone is now freaking out on me. At Merge Christian. Then you got at _3 underscores K2, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then obviously at opinions on the NBA.
Don't take that seriously, guys. It's a parody handle. People are like, why are you writing that with your pinned tweet? Like, dog.
Don't be the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, don't be the Denver Nuggets.
And I am at Lakers 1949, and this was
Or cap space.
Equals
or
delusion.
cat space equals depression right now. Thank you all for joining us.
And that's also mentioned Nelson's handle too.
Oh yeah, oh man, did he change his?
IDK _Espinosa.
Yep. Shout out to Nelson wherever he went. So all right, night y'all.
All right,
See ya.
later.
Peace.